Shalom, and welcome to Bible Stories as Blueprints of the Soul, your Biblical Hebrew podcast. Shalom and welcome to our Biblical Hebrew podcast. What is the connection between a song that was written in 1960 called One Note Samba or Single Note Samba by Antonio Carlos Jobim and the deed of creation or Maaseh Bereshit? When we read the Bible, Genesis 1-2, we find the following words. I shall read the Hebrew and then translate it into English. V'ha'aretz hayta, and the earth or the wheel was Tohu bohu, wandering, and the human will was wandering outside of itself and inside of itself. Tohu, from wonder. V'ha'aretz hayta tohu bohu, v'choshech al pnei tehum, and the earth was unformed and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. This is the English translation of Mechon Mamre, because Mechon Mamre holds the text in a parallel way. On the left side, the Hebrew text, on the right side, the English text, and you can follow. Now let's read again the Hebrew and see what the Hebrew says. Because once we translate the Hebrew to another language, we cause the Bible to turn from the tree of life to the tree of knowledge. And we shall always try to stay with the tree of life with the Hebrew and always return and come to the Hebrew from any other language. Because the Hebrew is the language of the world beyond the material, beyond the manifested, beyond the seasons of the year, beyond the visualized, beyond science, beyond physics, biology, and so on. Again, V'ha'aretz hayta tohu bohu, 4 words, V'ha'aretz, so to speak, the earth. But aretz, as we learn, comes from ratzon. Ratzon is a will. When a person has a will, like we say in English, when there's a will, there's a way. So the will was tohu bohu, usually translated to chaos, but here in this point we can see kinetic movement between tohu and bohu. Tohu, when a person wanders outside of himself, and bohu comes from bohu. The divinity is in one person. So the Bible speaks about human awareness. Here, ha'aretz is not just earth or ground or soil, but the will. The human will was wandering outside of itself and inside of itself. Because sometimes when a person looks around, he sees the world, he sees cities, movement, airplane, people coming and going, people commuting, boats at the ocean, birds are flying. When a person looks at the world, so he wonders. He wonders about many things. We tend to think that life generally is outside of ourselves. But here the Hebrew says something different. Though we wander outside of ourselves, we see things, people, stories, nature outside of ourselves. At the same moment, we don't recognize that what we see outside of ourselves is inside of ourselves. This is why the Bible says uvohu, and The world is in one person. So, V'ha'aretz, and the will, was, and here's the movement in and out, or out and in. Tohu v'vohu, this is a kinetic movement. Is it out? The will, the divine will, is outside of one person or inside of one person? And at this moment that we wonder, we continue to read the Hebrew. V'choshech al pnei tehom, and darkness upon the face of the deep, says the English. Those 4 words, v'choshech al pnei tehom, is not a description of nature at night. This is not it. It's the darkness that the person feels inside of himself because he doesn't have a connection. It can be that outside the sun is shining, children are going to school, and the birds are singing, but the person feels darkness inside the heart because he doesn't have a connection. This is the reality that this biblical verse describes. V'choshech al pnei tehom. Tehom, English translated as deep, but this word we can divide into 2 parts. Tehom is written in 4 letters: Tav, He, Vav, Mem. Tehom. The value of this word is 451. Please remember this. Now, this word can be divided into 2 words that create a meaning. We can divide this word into 2 parts. One will be ma, mem, he, and the other one will be tav, tav, vav. And I will explain those 2 words that each one is written in 2 letters. The word ma has the value of 45, which is the value of the word Adam in Hebrew. Adam, human, also has the value of 45. So let's go back. The word tehom, so to speak deep in this context, is divided into 2 parts, ma and tav. Ma has the value of 45, like the value of Adam, human, and the other part is tav. Tav is the last letter of the Hebrew alphabet, but tav, tav, vav is also a note. A note when we write musical notes. Please pay attention that deep divided into 2 parts, human and single note. Human feels single, without connection to anything, to nothing, to another human. This is the darkness when a person feels that he doesn't have a connection. A person is created with the ability to be human, but he cannot manifest this potential that exists within oneself. And to increase the tension, we continue to read the following words. V'ruach Elohim merachefet al pnei hamayim. And the Spirit of God is hovering upon the face of the water. There's a lot of tension here. A person feels darkness because he feels single, note, in this world, without any connection, without feeling any heart besides of himself. And at the same moment, the verse continues and it says, look at the tension. ורוח אלוהים מרחפת על פני המים. And the Spirit of God is hovering. What does it mean the Spirit of God is hovering? Like two parallel realities, there is no connection. There's hovering spirit and there's water, but there is no connection. Just parallel lines. And the Bible continues, and let's look at the urge of the verse of the next verse. Immediately, Vayomer Elohim, and God said, Yehi or, shall be light. Vayehi or, and there was light. What does it mean when there is a light? There is a connection. Finally, a person feels that his life has a meaning. He can make sense of his life. This is why the word or in Hebrew has the value of 207. When we take the zero outside of this number, we are left with 27, which also stand for the 27 letters of the Hebrew alphabet. And the number 27 can be divided into 3. And the number 3 stands for the Spirit. So again, when God said, shall be light, yehi or, vayehi or, the meaning is that there is connection. The Spirit created a connection with the matter. The spirit of one person reached another person's heart, and there is a light. Or the Spirit is manifested in a person's heart. This is the meaning of light in Hebrew. Wishing you a beautiful day and wonderful week. Thank you for listening to Bible Stories as Blueprints of the Soul. We hope that you enjoyed this episode. If you have any questions, comments, or would like to hear more about a certain topic, just write us an email to hebrew@learnoutlive.com. We are always happy to hear from you. For more episodes, videos, and articles like this, please visit our website at hebrew.learnoutlive.com. We also would like to invite you to join our live classes. Just search for Online College of Biblical Hebrew on Facebook and start learning now with students from all over the world. Koltuv and Shalom.